Welcome back into the Blue Door Pub Studios. Another Bull with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th Best Daily Podcast. Subscribe, rate, review, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, bullshow.co. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook and all that cheers. Happy Thursday. I got my man Luke Inman sitting in with me. Follow him on Twitter at Luke_Spinman. Hello, Lucas.
87th, huh?
Yeah.
Moving up, man.
Moving on up.
Can I get your autograph or what? This is crazy.
Do you, does anyone ever call you Lucas?
Just my mother. That's about it. The wife when she's really mad, but I mean, that doesn't happen a lot.
I could see that happening.
It happens a lot.
Yeah. What's your middle name?
Richard.
What's your social security number?
For that.
652. So,
here's my wallet, dude. There's not much.
So just hopping into randomness. There's a show on Amazon called Patriot, which I've really started to get into. And there's a running joke because, long story short, he's a CIA operative, and he's got to pretend to get this job so he can travel so it can be under the radar, right? Except everything's a cover, and his Social Security card has 10 digits on it. Okay. And it's a running joke of, I think I've never seen before, 10 digits on a Social Security card. It's just so many like subtle, dumb humor moments, but it's a great show.
Is it a comedy or is it a suspense? Is it a thriller?
It's action, dark comedy.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, think dark comedy in the vein of like how Breaking Bad had funny moments.
Got it. Sure. Okay. So the one that I got into last week when I was sick on Amazon was Sneaky Pete.
Yeah.
Sneaky Pete's getting good. And I'm only 3 or 4 episodes in, but Sneaky Pete's getting really good. So it's nice to have we don't pay for cable. Yep. We got, $10 a month for Netflix, 10 for Hulu. No commercials. And then we just got Amazon Prime going now, too. So between all that, we probably spend as close to the same amount that we would on cable anyways. But it's nice to have all three of those options. And I've been getting into Amazon a lot lately. It's got some HBO and Showtime going on in there. Or, excuse me, HBO and Stars. But like the Amazon original shows like Sneaky Pete, and it sounds like The Patriot's good, too. They got some sneaky good stuff over there, man.
I always want to call it The Patriot, except that's the Mel Gibson movie, or call it Patriots, which is the best team in the history of football. But it's just Patriot.
It's just Patriot.
Yeah. It's like holding in a sneeze, kind of.
Did you watch the Oscars?
I did.
I usually miss out. It's just not on the forefront of my mind. This year, though, I was all about it. I watched the intro and the red carpet stuff and all that. And
what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I had just the night before seen Hacksaw Ridge. Loved it.
Yep.
Loved it. Mel Gibson killed it again. I'm a huge Andrew Garfield guy. I liked him in the Spider-Mans. I liked him in his breakthrough piece, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Did you ever see that one? It was Heath Ledger's last movie.
That sounds made up.
Yeah, it's made up. I'm on acid right now, dude. I don't even know where I'm at. But that was really good by Garfield as well. But I expected Hacksaw Ridge to win a couple more awards. I think they won 2, maybe 3. But it sounds like La La Land was the one. So I haven't seen that. We saw Get Out a few days ago.
La La Land sucked. What'd you think of Get Out?
Here's my thing with movies, right? What? Don't hype it up. Because I'm sitting there in the movie theater, I'm like, this is supposed to be the best movie ever. Better be.
Well, yeah, because that's what you get. Everyone saying, Get Out was the best movie ever. It's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
So it's impossible to live up to that hype. So I try my hardest to go in just with a clean, open mind. Saying that, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great.
Yeah.
I appreciated it, though, because it was unlike any other movie we've seen before. And that, in today's day and age in Hollywood, and the same cliche scripts over and over and plot lines, anytime you can show me something different, I will always be appreciative. What was Slumdog Millionaire? Remember that one? Just unique, genuine stories. I like those instead of the cliche Hollywood bang bang stuff. So it was good, not great.
I enjoy Get Out. I feel like the whole racial overtones were really just kind of beating you over the head, and if that got a little old for me. I understand that it is very important because this is what we have to deal with every single day. But it's a movie. If they took it out of it, like if this is just a run-of-the-mill horror movie, I think it would get more genuine praise because it was a good movie. And Jordan Peele from Key and Peele, this was a hell of a movie put together by him. But also, I feel like people are saying that it's the most amazing film they've ever seen. I think critics are suspect of this too, because you don't want to criticize the movie that has such racial overtones there, and then you would doth be said racist.
So I couldn't help, and I'm a huge Key and Peele guy. I love the sketch comedies. I think they do a great job.
Ron.
I think the whole time, anytime they were trying to beat you over the head with the racial stuff, I was kind of chuckling and laughing, picturing Jordan Peele writing this stuff. I thought there was almost a comedic undertone to some. Like, I couldn't help not feel a little bit of I was watching a Key and Peele once in a while. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so over the top that they were trying to be funny almost with it.
And spoiler alert. Yep. I'm going to talk about that because I don't care. So
Sure.
the entire premise of it is that, hey, we're going to keep the brains of our grandparents and ancestors alive in the bodies of these black people, and then we're going to make them do manual labor because that's how we were treating Anna.
Because they're the most physical beings on the face of the earth. So the if you haven't seen it, but the other joke was they use them as sexual slaves the whole time, and you couldn't, for me, I'm just thinking of Jordan Peele writing that, like I said, and I just started laughing. And I'm like, this seems like almost like a comedy.
Yeah, except the whole sex slave thing I didn't get to is like, I really want to have sex with Jerry's aunt on Prudence.
That makes no sense.
From the 1914s.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Different, unique, great start to what should be a really promising directing and writing career for Jordan Peele. 100% of Rotten Tomatoes? Absolutely not.
I think if there was no racial overtones that made guilted people into overrating it, it probably would have been like a 78, which is still pretty damn good.
Anything above like 60, 65 is usually good. You won't turn it off. It's good enough. Anything above like 70, 75 is usually outstanding.
Also, your wife kind of looks like Allison Williams.
She heard that, I think, from somebody else at her work and before she went in. So that was another first thing, that pre-notion we had going in. She's like, first scene, she's like, do I look like her? I'm like, what? Her? It's different when you've been around the person for so long. But
and then people in the theater next to you were like,
shut up, Dan, we're trying to watch the movie.
Pretty much.
Luke, just because it's a movie about black people doesn't mean that you could get to talk in the theater.
My fault. I'm still learning the etiquette, man. I'm trying to figure it out.
And as always, the great thing about being a minority is I can make that joke.
Yeah, damn, you're lucky.
Yeah. Speaking of Allison Williams, who was the female lead in Get Out, and I think she did a good job there.
Yeah.
It's funny, the Williams family, because her dad is Brian Williams, formerly of the NBC Nightly News.
Did not know that.
There was a nice couple week stretch where was peak Brian Williams' life before it came crashing down.
Oh, God.
So Allison Williams did the live NBC Peter Pan, and she was Peter Pan. That was a whole big production.
What?
And then there was the moment when Brian Williams was honored with his chopper pilot of the story that ultimately was his downfall at the New York Rangers game at Madison Square Garden. So that was like peak Brian Williams. And then all of his fake stories sort of come together, and then his daughter Allison Williams on the show Girls had an analingus scene where she got her butthole eaten out, and then that was it.
You didn't tell me to DVR, dude?
That was how much did Brian Williams just dread riding the elevator?
Oh my God! Hey, you're Brian Williams, right? No.
Yeah. No, just the Brian Williams riding the elevator. You're stuck with people in silence, and then they want to ask about the fake helicopter story or about your daughter getting her butt eaten.
So there's that. I don't even know where to go with that.
This is my favorite one. I have a theory that looking back over the past decade, that with all of the new players in the TV scene, the Amazons, the Netflix, everyone putting out great content, that there's more shows. I think there's 500 TV shows debuted last year in 2016, probably more this year.
Yeah.
And they're all high quality. And movies have sort of taken a dip.
They have.
TV's gone up, as movies have gone down. They intersected a couple years ago, and I don't see that trend reversing anytime soon.
And you also start to see the binge watching, right? These TV shows are more of just ultimately an 8-hour movie now because everybody starts binging. You can have everything instant access, instant gratification. You start a show, you get 2-3 episodes in, and you like it. Psh, all right, I'm up till 5 or 6 in the morning. What was that? Making a Murder. I think everybody, no matter what you were into, everybody that week watched Making a Murder in 2 nights, and they kind of did that together. So yeah, you're absolutely right. TV shows are definitely starting to go on the up versus some of these movies that, again, it's just tough to find new, different storylines because it's all been played out, and then once they realize that I got nothing new, they try to make something like a recreation, right?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters with the women, things like that. It's just always trying to recreate successful stuff from the past, and more times than not, it feels like it just doesn't work.
Speaking of, that was a bad
like
movie.
Kong, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see.
Ghostbusters was so bad.
It looked...
Well, here's the thing.
But you're sexist because you said that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you construct a movie around a political bent, whether it be Get Out, black-white relations, or Ghostbusters, the remake, around an all-female cast, you sort of imperviate yourself to criticism to a degree, because if someone is being objectively critical, say like Roger Ebert is saying that Ghostbusters is not a good movie, well, then he's sexist. He's just the same as all the Twitter eggs on Twitter. It's
a lose-lose.
Yeah,
it's a lose-lose. We've put ourselves, though, in this position where anything that you say, even though it's just your opinion, which you're obviously, everybody gets their own opinion, if it's subjective or, a little outside the lines, you take a lot of heat for it nowadays, which sucks.
And it was mainly the execution of the script, because you have great talents there. You got Melissa McCarthy, you got Kate McKinnon, who's awesome, Leslie Jones.
The cast was good. It looked
good. What's her face from Bridesmaids?
Kristen Wiig?
Yeah.
That one.
Except it was just clunky. You didn't let the actresses kind of do their thing, and it was just bad overall. Honestly, you shouldn't have even made a Ghostbusters thing.
So let's go back to the Oscars where we started. Yeah. And again, I thought Hacksaw Ridge was one of the I know it's a war movie. Maybe it's going to be labeled as a guy movie, so to speak. But it's based on a true story, as you know.
Yep.
I thought the acting was great. I thought Gibson killed it. But La La Land stole the show. So I haven't seen it. Well, why didn't you like La La Land?
La La Land,
was it too overhyped?
It was overhyped, and I actually... I actually like musicals. Emma Stone was great in it. Ryan Gosling cannot sing or dance.
And it is a musical, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a musical. And what bugged me... by the way, it would have been a 2x better movie if Justin Timberlake was in Gosling's role.
Totally.
He would have...
He turned it down.
He might have won best actor for that role. That might have been JT's Oscar moment. But I digress.
I'm tweeting that. I'm stealing that.
I'm mainly annoyed because that was a tailor-made, hey, we're going to make an Oscar bait movie. It's a movie about chasing dreams in Los Angeles. It's about making movies. It's about music and the arts and the whole. You're basically just jerking off into a cup and then drinking it. That's what La La Land was.
So that eventually I'll see it. I'll wait for Redbox, whatever. But obviously that's still a show. But there was 2 other ones. They look a little bit more dramatic. I've never even heard of either of them. But Fences with Viola, who won actress, and then Denzel, obviously. But Moonlight was the other one, obviously, that won the Best Picture at the end of the day. So have you seen either of those 2? Do we know anything about them? And
Fences was good. Fences, it was pretty obvious that it was originally a play, which was based off of a very well-regarded play. Denzel's performance was great. I could see why he lost, though, because Casey Affleck in Manchester by the Sea, depressing movie, completely
really
shitty, depressing movie.
But the acting was good.
Yeah, it was good. Well, I shouldn't say shitty, but it was shitty by the way he made you feel at the end of it. It's
right.
Well, this is sad, especially as a parent. Spoiler alert.
That sucks.
And and Viola Davis was phenomenal. I also think the kid who played the son, the football player in the movie, was pretty good as well. But you could tell, I'm watching a play. It wasn't like a movie movie.
Didn't have
like,
that movie feel, like cinematic feel.
Yeah.
I immediately went and watched the trailer to both of them, and I got to say, Fences looked really intriguing. It looked like Denzel was going to murder that role, and the acting would be pretty good.
Denzel's great in everything.
He is, man. He's great. Somebody give him a shout out. I think it was Casey Affleck when he was winning his award, and obviously the cliche. I'm just grateful to be in your guys' presence and be nominated with you guys, whatever. So.
Well, even in like one-off dumb movies, like have you ever seen the movie Two Guns?
No.
With him and Mark Wahlberg?
No.
Like they're former bank robbing partners. Then one of them's a cop, and I forget the premise exactly, but he was awesome in that. Or like Man on Fire. Man on Fire is one of my favorite
movies. Dude. Man on Fire is great. I mean, we're about the same age. Training Day came out when we were 7th, 8th, 9th grade, whatever, and that just rocked my world too. I loved that one. That was great. So Moonlight though, just real quick. Moonlight, good man.
It
won the best picture of the year.
Really?
That's all you gotta say. Very good.
It is a $1.5 million movie. It showed it. Naomi Harris was phenomenal. I'm a big Naomi Harris fan. Ali was phenomenal as well. I can still never pronounce his first name, but Ali from Remy from House of Cards was great and well-deserved of Best Supporting Actor. Storyline, it was basically any coming-of-age story, but I feel like it got overhyped, like the movie Boyhood a couple years ago.
Yeah.
The one where
Richard
they shot
Linklater,
over 12 years.
Yeah, Richard Linklater, Boyhood, yep.
Yeah, where it's like the Academy is more in love with the premise.
The process and the premise.
Yeah, the process, the premise of a poor, black, gay boy, and also the scene in the middle of the movie, not ideal.
Really? I don't know anything about it, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worse than knowing your daughter's getting her booty
was,
hole licked out.
Yeah, the best was Kimmel's joke, which nobody got because no one's actually seen Moonlight. It was all the movies nominated are pretty depressing. The only happy ending in the movie was in the middle of Moonlight.
And nobody, like crickets, but like you were at home just dying.
Yeah,
like,
lots of people like that was the best joke of the night.
Kimmel, what did you think about Kimmel? Because Kimmel's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like Kimmel.
Kimmel, I'm a Kimmel fan.
Me too.
Of course, Man Show, and I'm a big Adam Carolla supporter.
Ziggy-zaggy. Oh, yeah.
Carolla actually helped punch up some of the jokes behind the scene on the writing staff, which was cool.
It's good to know he's doing good.
Yeah, I feel like Kimmel pushed edges, and he addressed like the Trump thing, which was the elephant in the room.
You knew politics was going to be huge that night.
But I think what he did was smart in that he didn't he addressed it, which if he didn't, it would have held over the room and been like this awkward thing. But also he didn't have open season on it, where then it would have signaled to the people making their speeches like, oh, game on, this is what we're doing tonight.
Right.
And I feel like overall the politics was relatively muted, and when it was brought up, especially by Kimmel, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought the fact that he brought it up right out the gate helped kind of relieve that tension and that pink elephant in the room, and made sure there was life and some oxygen in that room the rest of the night. But you're right, he didn't beat it with a dead horse. I mean, he sprinkled them in throughout the night, but it wasn't overbearing and overdone. I thought I've always enjoyed him going back, like you said, to the Man Show. I love his late night show. There's the little kind of pony act with Matt Damon throughout the night. They're always poking fun at each other. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Overall, I thought he was good. I can't remember who hosted last year. Justin Timberlake opened the show, I think, with the intro song. He always kills everything he does.
Well, the scuttlebutt was before the snafu for announcing Best Picture that there was going to be one last Matt Damon Kimmel bit. Except so we missed out on that.
Seal the deal. Yeah. So I remember when that originated. It was like he was going out with Sarah Silverman, and then Silverman banged or boned Damon, right? But was that all an act or what?
Yeah, that was an act.
Okay, the whole thing was made up.
It all started like when Kimmel first started. When any talk show starts, it's tough to get guests right away, and so that became a sort of a punching up, sort of running gag.
Get some publicity.
Sorry, apologies to Matt Damon. He got bumped till tomorrow, and blah blah blah. Like so,
right?
Yeah, that became a running joke, and then Matt Damon went along with it, and then the whole "I'm effing Matt Damon" song came out. which is good.
Yeah, that brought me back. I kind of forgot about that whole spat, and I never really cared enough to like look into it at the time. 4 or 5 years, whatever. Was that? When was that? That was a while ago.
That might have been like 7, 8 years ago.
Damn. Yeah. Overall, though, yeah, I liked it. I usually don't get into it too much, but I've always had a passion for movies and film just in general, so it's great to see, obviously, a lot of those movies get recognized. So is there any other movies that we're missing? I mean, La La Land, Hacksaw Ridge, Moonlight. What was the other big one? I mean, Zootopia won, whatever. But,
Zootopia was good. Hell or High Water. I really liked that
I just
movie.
watched that.
Yeah,
that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I loved that, man. That was great. And I really appreciated Jeff Bridges embracing the old man role. So many of these actors, they have a hard time letting go of the stud that they were, like De Niro. Now De Niro's playing some grandpa roles. But I thought Bridges really played that old sheriff role really well. And I thought that was good. What's the main guy's name? One of the brothers. He was in Star Trek.
Chris Pine.
Yeah, Chris Pine was really good too. And again, just a movie that wasn't the cliche stuff. Kept me guessing. Kept me on the edge of my seat. Not a lot of downtime. Not a lot of filler scenes that you go, they could have probably took that 20 minutes out. No, it was good. I think it was only a $1.40 hour and 40 minutes. Which, if you can make any good movie under 2 hours nowadays, hats off to you.
Also, the guy playing the brother, Ben Foster.
He's good.
Phenomenal in everything that he's in.
He was good. What is? There's 2 or 3 things. I've missed him in a lot of stuff, but there's 2 or 3 movies I remember him in 7, 8 years ago. I'm gonna have to look him up quick.
He was in Messengers. He was in The Punisher. He was in a couple more notable roles that escape me right now. He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor a couple years ago. I can't remember the movie, but yeah,
Lone Survivor, Warcraft, blah blah blah, National Lone Survivor, yep, Chicken Robot, The Mechanic, The Messenger. Oh, Pandorum, that's the one. Did you ever see Pandorum? I'm not a sci-fi guy, but Pandorum was outstanding. 310 to Yuma. My Name is Earl. Alpha Dog. Did you ever see Alpha Dog with JT, Justin Timberlake?
Yeah. That was
he's in some of the X-Men, too, it looks like.
Yeah, that was like Justin Timberlake's debut. I forgot about him in Lone Survivor. I think he was good in that, too.
Yeah, Phone Booth. Did you ever see Phone Booth?
I did. Colin Farrell.
Yeah, I was working at. It was my high school job, working at Mr. Movies at the time, so I got to see every movie.
Wait, so was that like a regional blockbuster?
It was like a regional blockbuster. Yes, it was the go-to spot in Lakeville because Blockbuster was in Apple Valley. Lakeville, that was our spot. So Tuesdays, 49-cent Tuesday.
Yeah, that's kind of depressing. Like my kids will never know. Like our kids will never know working in a video store.
Me and the wife talk about that a lot. The buzz of going into a movie store on a Friday night with your significant other or a buddy or whatever, or with your parents when you were a kid and being able to pick out that video game that you wanted or that new release or looking at old comedies or kids' movies. That was fun, man.
Yeah. Because now I'm from a small town, which is Lakeville's not huge, but still a city.
It was
like
small
my
back
town
in the
is
day,
like 2,000 people, right?
Okay, yep.
And we still had a video store, except it was like it didn't have a name.
It was just that gas station one.
Oh,
you
no,
know what I mean?
It was in between like the bar and the jewelry store, and it was just the video store. Like there's no signage. It was just the video store. And you go in, and the movies when you're around were in like these giant like clappers, like the plastic cases, and just going through on the VHSs and check out the new releases. And
fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun,
that, man.
Especially on like like you mentioned, a Friday.
The buzz.
Friday when you're a kid and you go with the parents, and you get one kid's movie. The parents get a movie, and then you pick one that's in the middle, and then you got your weekend set.
Dude, and then usually Dad goes and picks up some like Chinese takeout or something, or Mom's cooking popcorn. It's just like a fun family thing, and again, interactive, and just the buzz on that Friday, or maybe you try to get there before the new release is taken or whatever, and then you get up there and you find out, Dad didn't return them on time. There's $7.58 in late fees, and then Dad be pissed off and said, I thought your mom. Okay, too far.
Oh, the rewinding, the rewinding machine.
Yeah, the rewinding fee. Some of the generic janky places would charge you like 50 cents if you didn't rewind the tape. That was a thing. That was a thing, man. Yeah, the rewinding tape. Oh, good stuff, man. I miss that. What else have we lost out on?
Let's see. Well, yeah,
that was the big thing. I feel like
our arcades.
Except,
I understood arcades. I wasn't a big arcade kid, but I got the appeal.
Do you think we missed that just by maybe 5-10 years? Do you think that
maybe we're 5 years too young?
Yes, back like
yeah.
Late '80s, mid '80s, or I mean when the pinballs became huge in what I don't know, early '70s, whatever.
Well, yeah, maybe we're like in the dead zone because now they're starting to come back now as with like Up Down and Uptown,
Yeah.
like they're monstrous. And it's like, oh yeah, you pair good beer with video games. How odd.
So I haven't been to Up Down. I've heard phenomenal stuff, but for Jerry from White Bear Lake's bachelor party, we went out to Denver and we went to the exact same thing. It wasn't called Up Down, but I had a blast, man.
Yep.
Not only was it nostalgic to go play NBA Jam and The Simpsons and X-Men and all this off-road, all this other stuff, but there's some new great games like a new Terminator and things like that. And I'm a huge pinball guy too, so be able to play live pinball too. And they're all a quarter. I thought, like, oh, give me $2 a game or a play. No, a quarter, just like it used to be. Did they kill you at the bar? Yeah. I think a Long Island was like $10 legitimately. But
that's not bad.
But I think at the end of the day, I love the concept. I think it's great.
I love Long Island iced teas. I'm not gonna lie, like they are so bad for you. But like if you get a good bartender who doesn't make it from like the stupid mix, where they actually do like
that
the
sour
4 liquors and then just a little bit of the sour and then the splash of Coke on top just for the color.
You know what I'm talking about.
Those things will get you messed up.
Yes, they will. Yeah, that's the key to a good drink too. It's like, okay, there's that much liquor in there, but yet I can't. Why can't I taste any of it? Why am I sucking this down? Right now?
It's because of the splash of sour and the splash of Coke.
That's it. I don't know.
Or maybe the liquors that go into the vodka, the rum, the tequila. What's the fourth one?
Well, you can either do gin, or tequila. I usually do tequila, but some people do.
Maybe it just like cancels each other out.
I was gonna say maybe the combination of all four kind of just
maybe
kill
the
each
chemistry
other.
of putting those four together, it like the covalent bonds send it back to H2O.
Yeah, I don't know, they're unbelievable. They're worth $10 for sure.
But this is drunk water. Except the business model, it seems so simple. It's like, oh, we're gonna pair video games and beer and booze. Like it's gonna be pretty straightforward. Like I'm gonna start a new company. Pizza blowjobs.
Come again?
Pizza blowjobs.
Pizza BJs.
Yeah.
PBJs.
Yeah.
PBJs.
Yeah. I feel like if we're just smashing two things that we know are good together, it will sell.
So
we'll have to get some special licensing.
So many questions.
In Nevada.
So who's given the BJ?
The staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know that going in.
You're not coming in
That's
and paying to get the BJ.
After 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No, it won't be. It's genius. Is this Trump's idea?
Hey, you guys want pizza? I'll go pick it up. Dad, this is the 17th time we're having pizza
today,
and it's 8 a.m. on a Thursday. Shut up.
So pepperoni and sausage. You got it, kid.
Man. Suppose we should talk draft. All right. Taking away the Vikings part of it.
Yep.
Who's gonna be the number one pick?
Well, it should be Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, though, and I talked about this on the draft wrap. You can check that out on Cold Omaha as well, that Reuben Foster should be starting to talk about as the second best player in this draft. And, you know, we saw it with Luke Kuechly. He fell to 12, I think, to the Panthers. We saw it with Patrick Willis. He fell to 7 or 8 to the Niners. This guy is on that level. Go back and watch the national championship game again against Clemson, and you'll see a guy that is just better than everybody else on the field. And I don't know if you ever watched like a hockey game with Wayne Gretzky. You didn't need to know a lot about hockey. You could just watch the game and go, this guy's clearly better than everybody else on the ice. That's how Reuben Foster was, not only during that championship game, but most of the year. A 3-down guy. I know the middle linebacker position is somewhat undervalued, but I'm telling you, if you were to go back and redraft Patrick Willis and Luke Kuechly, they'd both go top 3. That's where Reuben Foster should go.
Who do you think is going to get overdrafted? Besides the quarterbacks, which is going to be a given.
Yeah, quarterbacks. You know, I think some of these skill positions sometimes get overdrafted. You know, the running back position is something that, especially in this class, I know the top 3 are dominant, and I love McCaffrey too. He's just going to be a special weapon, a Swiss Army knife. But, you know, if I can get the names that we've heard for so long now, Wayne Gallman, Kareem Hunt, Dante Foreman, I like Jamal Williams from BYU. in the 4th, 5th round, why if I'm the Panthers, why am I going to use the 8th overall pick on Leonard Fournette and pass up on Solomon Thomas?
Because Leonard Fournette is a physical freak. He's going to play till he's 40 and break Eric Dickerson's record.
I think those guys, I mean, you still need – here's the thing. It's like, okay, running backs – and I say it all the time too. Running backs devalued, watered down, dying position. Well, because everybody's running shotgun 6 minutes time. That's true. But you still need to run a Big 12 personnel package. You still need to ground and pound at the same time. So we talked about this with Ben Albright on the Draft Wrap, that I think teams are, these niche roles like the nickel or slot cornerback role is so important now compared to 10 years ago. I think you're going to see the NFL go from 53 men on a roster to maybe they'll start with 55 or 58. Active guys on a roster from 46 to 50, things like that, because you just need more players now to run all these different packages from one extreme, shotgun 5 wide, to another extreme, ground and pound, Big 12 personnel, 2 tight ends or a fullback. On consecutive plays. One play I might go the Big 12, and then the next play I might run 5 wide. So I think that you still need a running back, and I'm kind of playing devil's advocate with myself there.
Well, the Vikings have shown that even if you do have a spread offense, you need to be able to pick up a yard when you have to.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, as much as it's become a passing league, again, shotgun, I think, was ran about 6% of the time. You still need to be able to win in the trenches. And I think, I don't want to go too homer on the bit, but I'm telling you, the Vikings have a lot of great pieces already in play. If they were able to run the ball at all last year, they would have been so much better on both offense and defense, because that defense would have been so much fresher. I don't think they're very far away. And I'm not going to pull the Falcons were 5-0 and then got the Super Bowl, but I'm saying that the Vikings core, their young nucleus, it's stacked. They need to win in the trenches, though, because ultimately, like you said, Andy, that's where you win and lose a lot of those games.
Do you think Dalvin Cook's medicals, turns out that he's had 3 shoulder surgeries that no one really knew about, how much is that going to cost him?
I think it's going to cost him more than people think, especially at a running, again, a position that, I had Cook going to the Raiders at 24, I think, which is probably way lower than most people have him, but I think that, again, it's unfortunate. If it was just the big 3 and then pretty a weak class, they'd probably all go in the top 20. Yep. But because it's so deep, if I'm a GM or a coach and I know I can get not just 1 but 2 really good guys, James Conner, Pittsburgh, Matthew Days, NC State, Donald Pumphrey is the NCAA rushing record holder. So he's probably got a lot of wear and tear. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys out there. It's going to be tough to really sell a lot of these GMs that need to win now on using a top 10 pick on a running back.
Donald Pumphrey, after all those carries at San Diego, just rolls up to the draft in like a wheelchair.
Yeah.
All 5'9", $196 of them.
Buck 69.
I'm right about 169.
Yeah.
I got those numbers wrong.
Yeah.
Shit. He's a tiny guy.
Of all people, I'm surprised you got 169 wrong. I don't even know if there's any cartilage left in those knees. But, that's the medicals. Eric Sugarman, hopefully one of the best still in the game. And I'll tell you what, too, the Vikings are known to not only pass on a lot of big-name guys, big talent, because of off-the-field stuff and character concerns, but they're also the same about injuries and medicals. So those are, I think, equally 50-50, just as important.
Except for T.J. Clemmings.
Yeah, but I remember when we drafted him, we got him on the horn at Winter Park, and the first question was about the injury, the toe, the foot, and he goes, "I don't know why this got blown out of proportion so much. I don't
know why. I just dropped because I was bad."
And the Vikings drafted him, so they must have not thought he was that bad.
Yeah. Who's the best quarterback in this draft?
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I love him.
Because
I don't think
he has a high ceiling, or because he's the safest pick, in your opinion?
I don't like to label him as the safest pick, although I do think he is. It's the intangibles for me. Everybody's big, everybody's strong, everybody's fast. Give me the quarterback position more than any other one, though. You need the intangibles, and this guy, 28-2 all-time career record, been in the national championship twice, won one of them. Granted that there's weaknesses to his game. I think pre-snap read If the defense gives him what he looks, he's great. If it's a different look, he struggles. But he's also got the athletic. You need athleticism at quarterback now because the defensive line and pass rushers are so quick, so fast, so explosive off the edge that you need to be able to move. And I think that's why, guys like from Russell Wilson to Andrew Luck, I mean, the guys can move when they need to, and I think Watson can do that. Not saying the others can. I think Watson, though, has those intangibles that, for me, I love. And I think, honestly, too, I'll say this, too, I think out of all of them, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to take a big step forward here coming up. I think Watson could be the last one taken of the 4 and could be the best when it's all said and done. A la somewhat of a Teddy. Teddy's dropped because of bad pro day. I think Watson just, could just drop just because.
And then he'll get a documentary called The Watson 3, so the Brady 6.
Oh, I'm not opposed to that.
Spurgeon frickin' win.
Spurgeon
drafted ahead
win
of Tom Brady.
Insane.
Now the Browns have $102 million in cap space. They have a ton of draft picks. They have the 1st and 12th pick, but I feel like they should just tank again so they can draft Sam Darnold next year.
Yeah, there's some hype on Twitter today about Sam Darnold. Somebody at the Combine said, "Yeah, I'm sure you saw it,"
yeah.
But the Browns are more than 1 year away. So even in a league,
just tank it, baby.
Yeah, even in a league that you can turn around a lot in just one off season, the Browns, dream scenario is to get to 8-8 next year. I mean, that's the Super Bowl for them. So there's still at least 1 more year away, even with all the cap space.
Do you think that would be in their best interest to go 8-8, or do you think it'd be better to go 2-14?
I think
get a top 3 pick again.
I think ideally, absolutely. I think that it tends to get a little bit more like video game mode, Madden mode, though, and it's not realistic because here's the human element of going 2-14 is the morale gets completely sucked out of that office every single day. We're not there, but those guys are, and that coaching staff is. When you win games, it builds momentum, and more importantly, it sounds cliche, but you have to learn how to win.
Yep.
And when you start to win some of those games that, not just the games that you're supposed to win, but games that you're not. I mean, look at the Wild the past few nights. There's been a few games that the Wild have won that it just looks like they're not going to win. And when you can win those games, the confidence and the momentum is something that can't be measured.
Well, here's my take. In the NFL, any sport for that matter, it's really hard to have a concerted tanking effort because coaches are going to coach for their job. They're going to try and sneak out a 4-12 or a 5-11 to try and save their jobs. But if Hugh has assurances that his job is safe, and it doesn't even have to be a spot where you're intentionally trying to lose games, but if you have a young roster, you play the young guys, have them be seasoned, and we've seen, look at the '89 Cowboys going 1-15, the rookie year of Troy Aikman, first year of Jimmy Johnson. Hey, if you have a young roster, just get the shit kicked out of you together. That will build up some camaraderie, and once good times come around, that will just add that much character.
Yeah, I think ideally you get that 1 year buffer zone your first year in as coach. You just go in, and I think that's the kind of the mentality you have is let's see what I got. Let's throw all these young kids in the mix. Sorry, veterans, that sucks for you. They're going to try as hard as they can, like they should. But let's see what we got with these young kids. Bring them all in, see what pans, see what doesn't, see what you got with the quarterbacks, tank it, get that first pick or a top 3 pick, and continue. If it was me, unless there's just like a Julio Jones or a Aaron Donald, I'm trading back and I'm stockpiling. And if you've been keeping tabs, the Browns have more top 150 picks than any other team in the league. And who's to say that they're not going to trade out of that number 1 or number 12 spot again? So it's going to be interesting because they're all hashtag analytics now. And they know that it's just as much a success to have a second round or third round pick as it is a first round pick. So they're stockpiling. They don't want the 5th, 6th, 7th, but they want as many second, third, fourth round picks as they can. So who knows? Maybe they might trade out of that pick.
Also, it seems like they're purging their roster, except for Joe Thomas, who's like the only old veteran.
Surprised they haven't moved him yet.
They had a record number of rookies on their roster last year, and then it doesn't seem like they're going to be signing any mid-level veteran free agents.
Let me ask you this: maybe it's just because of the Browns, but they drafted so many kids last year. Did it seem like they were any better? Do you see right now that it's a year later? Corey Coleman flashed a little bit and blah, blah. Does it seem like they're any better?
They're more interesting.
They are more
That's
interesting,
for sure. And I'm actually very intrigued, and I hope this experiment works out. And, man, just having the Browns be relevant, where that becomes a model, you completely strip it all down, you burn it to the ground, and then rebuild with youth. Man.
I'm trying to find the Browns depth chart real quick because they got, I'm just looking at the core pieces that you're talking about building around the young guy. Their O-line is actually great, even outside of Joe Thomas. Joel Bettino is probably the best young left guard in the league. Cameron Ervin was a first-round pick 2 years ago. Isaiah Crowell, Duke Johnson, whatever, are those core pieces? Probably not. Terrell Pryor and Corey Coleman, pretty good.
If they keep Pryor, yeah.
If they keep Pryor, which, again, keep those core guys. Defense, Danny Shelton, solid. They used a second-round pick on Emmanuel Ogbah. Hopefully he pans out. Carl Nassib should be pretty solid. Jamie Collins they traded for. Joe Hayden's pretty solid. But outside of that, there's not a lot of the just dynamite can't-miss guys that are going to be great for 10 years, like a Harrison Smith or an Everson Griffin. So,
But imagine if they get Myles Garrett, they take whichever quarterback is there at 12, and then they get someone like Budda Baker at the top end of the second round.
Yeah, you could play those scenarios all day, and I think you're right. I think if it was me, I'm not forcing a quarterback even at 12 because there's no sure thing, and I think passing on a guy like maybe a Reuben Foster or Solomon Thomas or Mike Williams or one of the great cornerbacks or Jamal Adams or Malik Hooker, they're going to help me win now and start to, again, build the momentum and you get it.
Also, with the $102 million in cap space, here's what they should do. They should get to the spending floor so they're not penalized this year and roll over that savings till next year. Just go ape shit on the bit. And if they go 2-14 again, they get their number one pick. They have their pick of Donald or Allen from Wyoming, or the chosen Rosen is finally draft eligible. Roll with that, because I think those three quarterbacks I will take over any of the quarterbacks in this draft. But then again, that's always grass is greener on the other side thing.
No, I don't think you're wrong about the quarterback class. I think that, again, all four of these guys could end up being good. Nick Peterman might be a great backup for a long time. You just don't know. But I think looking forward, I think you're right. 2018 quarterback class is clearly superior. I think Jared Goff and Carson Wentz coming out last year would probably go ahead of all these guys too. But, when it comes to free agency, it just seems like teams are wising up and they understand that you build through the draft. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns end up trading back, stockpiling, continue to draft guys, because, who are you going to go sign in free agency that's really going to change the dynamic of your team? You got to remember, all the good free agents usually end up getting re-signed by their own team. And if they don't, they're probably not as clean-cut and a can't-miss free agent player or prospect as you might think. Alshon Jeffrey, he's going to get paid. But if you're the Browns, is Jeffrey going to win us a Super Bowl? No, you're just too far away. So I forgot about this the floor of money that they have to spend. It'll be interesting how they end up kind of divvying that out.
What would be great is say the Steelers and Le'Veon Bell can't work out a long-term deal, just go balls out next offseason. Give him whatever. Give him the Adrian Peterson contract. Give him $18 million a year, because still in his prime, if he can stay healthy and stay not suspended, he would be worth it. Plus, you steal him away from your biggest division foe. Oh, baby.
I'm just going through some free agents, the realistic guys that could be. Barry's gone now. Khalees Campbell's gone now. But
they'd be in a spot where it wouldn't make sense to sign Whitworth because they're not a year or two away. But if they throw a ton of money at Ricky Wagner,
right,
that'd be a hell of a piece.
That's a cornerstone.
And take away from the division.
A.J. Bowie, cornerback, Texans. Again, a young guy that's outstanding. Probably going to get re-signed. Nick Perry was okay. Yeah. Free agency should be viewed as when you're a piece or two away. There you go. Go grab a guy. But I think for the most part, and I think the Browns and most of the league are wising up. Draft is definitely the way to build.
Yeah.
Because of the money. You can get they're not all going to be Pro Bowlers, but you get serviceable guys in the third, fourth, fifth round that you're paying peanuts to compared to some of these big free agents that maybe they're playing slightly better, but not worth the extra money contract-wise too. So that's how you stay good year in and year out.
And we could go on and on and on about this rabbit hole, but I just wanted to have you in, and it was fun talking movies.
It was. It was for another movie buff. So I got to go check not the Patriot. I got to check Patriot out.
Patriot. Dude. Follow Luke on Twitter at Luke_Spinman. What do you have for Moat? What should people look for?
Well, I busted out a draft breakdown video profile, one of my first of the year, on Travis Durrell. I kind of went soft and under the radar, not a big prospect coming up. But you can check that out. I got D.D. Westbrook on deck. I'm editing right now. But I know next week you and I are going to collaborate, and we're going to do kind of the top 10 kind of creative or explosive or fun plays from 10 of the best prospects coming out there. So maybe, Leonard Fournette's best run, Mitch Trubisky's best throw, things like that. So that should be fun.
Explosive. Hey. All right, big thanks, Luke. If you want to support the show, spread the word. Because when you're with your friends, you run out of douchebag things to talk about. Just bring up bull. 5 days a week coming at you. Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast. Sports adjacent is what we're branding ourselves, because we had some sports talk. We had some life talk. That's what we do. iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, bullshow.co, and also on Facebook. Give us a like. We need your thumbs. But for Luke Inman, I'm Andy Carlson saying, and Young, sayonara, and bye-bye. We'll talk to you Friday.
Thanks for listening to Bull with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast. Download the show on iTunes. Everyone's middle name is Jerome.